Hey everybody, I am not in front of my bookshelves as usual because I have a special edition of a book haul, and this is actually a kitten haul. That's Felix Mendelssohn and Ludwig von Beethoven. They're investigating the string that my husband is playing with. He saw 3 kittens back behind our house, so we went ahead and borrowed some live traps from a friend, and we've got these 2 so far, so we know there's at least one other one out there, and we're hoping we can get him. Sweetie, are you okay?
It stings.
It stings? Yes, I know it stings.
Little kitty acupuncture.
So Felix, if you have not guessed already, is the curious kitty. And Ludwig over there is a little bit of a scaredy cat, but that's why he's got Felix around. This is day 2 of having Felix, and day almost 2.5 of having Ludwig. We got Ludwig first, and then their third sibling tried to get in the cage, but it had closed and it was trying to get the food from the other side. So we reset the trap and ended up getting Felix, who's ventured up onto shoulder territory. What a brave little kitten. Sweetie, are your legs okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we're hanging out in the half bath right now, which is their current home. We've got a couple of people interested. We're probably gonna hang on to them for at least 2 weeks because they can't be around other animals until then, while they work on their deworming treatment. So we're gonna socialize them a bit with us. They are using the litter box that we have. And then we're gonna go ahead and socialize them to our own cats a little bit. So hopefully sometime around Christmas or a little after Christmas, they will have a brand new home. So here's the kitten haul. Ludwig, you're fine. This is the kitten haul part of this book haul, and I hope you all enjoyed, and hopefully I'll be back with an update in a couple of days and we can get a little more kitten time. Hello readers, I'm Amy. Welcome to the channel. I'm really hoping that this stays focused okay throughout this video because my autofocus is being weird again. It's not actually autofocusing. I had to focus this whole thing before the video, so hopefully you can see me clearly as I'm recording. Anyways, we have a winter haul to do, and in winter, you know, there's holidays, there's Black Friday sales, there's Cyber Monday sales, and I have a lot coming up this year. So this enormous haul is part of the inspiration for my book Low Buy this year. My goal is to purchase no more than 12 books in all of 2020. Right now it is January 13th, and I've bought 2 books, and I'm going to pay for a Brooklyn Public Library card, which will count towards my books. So it's January, and I've already counted off 3 of the 12. I don't know how well this is gonna go, but anyways, on to the haul. I have read some of these, not all of them, but let us start with Barnes & Noble. Got a single book from Barnes & Noble this winter, and that was What We See When We Read. I have just recently finished this, and this is a nonfiction about what you see when you read. Whenever I got this, like, I read the inside premise, and I was initially thinking that it was supposed to be, like, more of a psychology book on what you see when you read, and ends up it's a philosophy and theory book. It's got a really interesting setup. And also, I forgot my microphone. Hold on a second. I suppose in editing I'll get to see what difference my microphone makes with this camera. Anyways, what we see when we read. This ended up being a philosophy book when I thought it would be more psychology. You've got all of these funky drawings here. And I forgot my focus isn't working. You've just got all this artwork by Peter Mendelsohn. And up in this corner, I will put the 1984 book cover, as well as some of his others, so you can see the work that he's done. But Peter Mendelsohn is a book cover designer. I believe he also just came out with a book on book cover designing. He has a very particular style. And this whole thing reads like a philosophy essay that was cut up into bite-sized pieces with some pictures added in to help us understand the concepts, and I think it worked really well. There were parts of this that were dry for me, but it's interesting. I will definitely be rereading it at some point, and it's staying on my shelves. Which is the other thing. A lot of the books that I buy, I'm curious about, and I struggle to get through my own library, so I end up buying them, and a lot of these I end up not liking. So hopefully with the Brooklyn Public Library card that I'm getting, which is a $50 annual fee, hopefully I will have a lot more book choices and be spending less money on books that I end up not even liking. Let us move on to Christmas books. Do I have all of my Christmas books here? Yes. Okay. That's Amadeus, if you're wondering. Christmas books. I will go ahead and take a minute to talk about Victoria from What Victoria Read. She is hosting a book club. For the next 17 or 18 months, we will be reading one Margaret Atwood novel per month. And so for Christmas, my mom got me 2 Margaret Atwood books. This is The Blind Assassin and Alias Grace. I hear a lot of really great things about Alias Grace, so I am very curious about it. I don't know when we're going to be reading these. I double-checked the list of novels, and I think these are going to be books that I'm reading in the summer, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure. And going along with the Margaret Atwood thing, we will talk about my book depository books. I got The Edible Woman. This is Margaret Atwood's first published novel. I hated it whenever I first tried reading it in college. I thought it was boring and nothing happened, and I didn't get it. I am rereading it, or rereading the beginning. I never actually finished it. This month in January. And I love it. And nothing's happening, but I get it this time. Like, it's making sense to me now. It is literary fiction, so literary fiction can be really hit and miss with me, but I'm loving it so far. I am almost done with it. Another book depository book that I got that is not actually here yet. I think it got lost in the mail during holiday shipments, so I have had them resend it. Hopefully I will get it sometime this week, and that is The Birds and Other Stories by Daphne du Maurier. I've been a little curious about this one, and then for the first time, was it Thanksgiving, I think, that I was at my mother-in-law's house, and The Birds, the movie, by Alfred Hitchcock was playing on the TV, and so I got to see most of the movie, and I feel like for the time that movie was made, like, I did not give it enough credit. That movie gets dark. Some of the stuff that they show on film, I'm like, wow, okay. So, of course, I ordered it, because as of 2019, Daphne du Maurier is officially my favorite female author. I really struggle with slow burns. Edible Woman is definitely like a slow burn, but Daphne du Maurier really opened me up to the slow burn story, and I found that I don't hate all of them, because I've loved every single one of Daphne du Maurier's books that I've read so far. Anyways, as the British booktubers say, I'm waffling. Let's move on with the book haul. We have Brandon Sanderson. So I got the first 2 Mistborn books on mass paperback from a friend's sale, and I got the third one at an airport, and it was signed also, because you can get a lot of signed books in airports, and I ended up gifting the whole mass paperback collection to my mother for Christmas, hoping to get her into the series, and I got to get myself the pretty covers. So I have, that is not the first book. I have Final Empire, which is the first book, and I got these covers because I am just totally in love with this artwork. I have Well of Ascension, which I would have to reread it to be sure, but I might have actually liked the second book more than the first one. But they were both really, really good, so I don't even know, and this just gives me an excuse to reread them. I have started Hero of Ages. I am done with, like, the very, very first part of it. I'm really loving it, but I'm also reading, like, 5 or 6 other books right now, so I can't concentrate on it as much as I would like to. But of all the books that I'm reading this month, this is the only one so far that I am reading just for me. So I need to read it, and I need to enjoy it, because all of my other books are buddy reads. Continuing with Book Depository, we have some Judy Blume. I got Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. This is a book I read recently that I adored. Had to have it for my shelves, as you do with books that you adore. And I also got Deanie. Deanie is about a girl with scoliosis, and as a woman with scoliosis who had a very traumatic surgical thing in childhood, I can't wait to read this. I don't know if this is going to be upsetting to me. I don't know how emotional it's going to make me, but I figure it's most likely going to get an individual review because I'm probably going to have a lot to say on the writing, on the author's viewpoints, on what happens to the main character. No matter what, I'm going to have something to say about this. So you'll probably be hearing more about it later. Oh, another Brandon Sanderson book that I forgot about is Elantris. This is on loan to a friend. Hopefully friend sees this video and knows that I am watching him, and he better take very good care of that book. It is new, and it is white, and I expect it to look new and white when I get it back, because I haven't read it yet, and I'm hoping to read it soon. As soon as he's done with it. It's actually a really long book, and he has kids, and he's busy, but still. Also, I had ordered iRobot from Book Depository. Absolutely loved it. I read it in December. I read it in December. And I really loved it, which is saying something because iRobot is a collection of short stories. And it's about robots. And in real life, I am not super keen on robots. I'm one of those people that finds them kind of creepy. And I'm definitely not super keen on short stories, but loved this. So maybe the whole rest of the series may or may not have had a Cyber Monday discount. And maybe, just maybe, I am totally in love with the colors and the covers. So that's something that happened. I'm following Murphy Napier's reading of it. I think she finished The Naked Sun a couple months ago, and she had a lot of good stuff to say about it, and I'm finding I like a lot of the books that she likes, so now I'm finally reading Isaac Asimov. And then we have Ira Levin. So Stepford Wives, I started once, and I didn't like it, and I didn't finish it. I hate the movies. Like, I like the movies, but I hate the movies. I like what the movies are saying, but they creep me out. The story I just wasn't super into. But recently, in October, I read Rosemary's Baby, and I loved it. And I haven't tried reading The Stepford Wives since, I think, high school, so I went ahead and got a copy. But ends up, I didn't get a copy of this. I got 2 copies of this. So sent it off to my friend Hillary from Melted Books, and we will be buddy reading that next month. And I also picked up A Kiss Before Dying and The Boys from Brazil. I don't remember what either of these are about, but I know that The Boys from Brazil is the one that I'm looking forward to reading the most. Ira Levin was also on a big discount, so why not buy them? Why not buy everything? Then we have the Project book, House of Leaves. I was going to buddy read this with Murphy Napier, which I am doing. I think she actually kind of stopped at one point because she's feeling about it the way the rest of us are. I can't even find what chapter I'm on right now, but was going to buddy read it with her, and we were both kind of struggling a little bit, and I explained the premise of the book to a super nerdy friend and another good friend, and actually Demi. By now you will have met Demi in one of my videos. Demi and my super nerdy friend explained the book to them. They were totally into it. They got their own copies. So the four of us together slogged through. I think everyone paused around like chapter 5. That's kind of when I stopped hearing back. And I kind of quit at the end of November. I picked it up at the beginning of January, and then Rachel from Shades of Orange wanted to do a buddy read on it, and so we're in with 2 other people on like this whole separate messaging system. So I'm reading this with 6 other people right now in 2 separate buddy reads, and we're all feeling pretty much the same way, where the story in the story is good, like the basic idea of this is good, but it's a lot to get through. Mark Z. Danielewski may have gone too far, but also last I heard the farthest anyone was like chapter 10. So we'll see. It's got a lot of 5-star ratings, so I'm wondering just how far I have to get into this book to get to the 5-star rating part. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, this is not from Book Depository. This is from Amazon. So we have that. And then Friends of the Library. I checked out In Cold Blood on Libby from my local library, and then I walked into the Friends of the Library one day to say hello, and one of the ladies was cleaning off a copy of In Cold Blood, so of course I bought this. And I tried to do the whole listening to the audiobook while reading the physical book thing, and the style is not for me. But you can't say I didn't try. Really enjoyed this. Excited to have it on my shelves, and I also picked up Bird Box. I don't know when I'm going to get to read this, because there's a lot of books I want to get to read, but I read A House at the Bottom of a Lake. I loved it, and I cannot wait to get to this one. Hopefully it will be within the next 6 months. I don't know. I'm going to have a lot going on this year. We'll see. And now we've come to the 3 stacks from local bookstores. From a few books more, which like I think they buy nice condition used books and then resell them, I got this copy of Salem's Lot, which, by the way, Edible Woman and Salem's Lot are the 2 books that are counting for this year, as well as the Brooklyn Library card. But I picked up this copy of Salem's Lot. The copy that my husband and I already have, or that my husband has, is Carrie, Salem's Lot, and The Shining all in one book. That's not the way that I like to read things. Like, I'd prefer, if you're going to have a big book, to have it in its own book. So we also have all 3 of those books in mass market paperback copies now. But I love this cover. Of all the Salem's Lot covers, I'll readjust this a little bit. I love this one the most. And I've read Salem's Lot. At some point last year, I read it and didn't like it. But I want to give it another chance. I think I would enjoy it more as a physical. Let me see if I can... Is that better? I hope that's better. I think I would enjoy this more as a physical, because there are a lot of characters in this book. It's like Needful Things. I really loved Needful Things, but it had a lot of characters going on. I also found that it took way too much from Bram Stoker's Dracula and kind of failed to be its own story. But again, I feel like this is a book that I need to give a second chance to. So I'm going to try reading it in this different media and see if I like it better. And we also have How to Be a Good Wife, which I feel like I saw this pop up on someone's video and it looked really good, and then I found out a few books more in this nice hardcover copy and I picked it up. So again, don't know a lot about it. I don't know, but it looks good. At this point, like, I'm really probably just planning what I'm going to read in October, because it's going to take me till October to get to some of these. All right, then this house of books, I picked up The Flicker of Old Dreams. I got this on a subscriber recommendation. I believe they're actually reading it right now as we speak because I checked Goodreads and saw that they were reading it. And it's like, oh, I should read that. Hoping to get to this in February. It sounded like one that I was really, really going to love. Again, don't really remember what it's about, but it features a small town. And I really like books featuring small towns. And last pile, certainly not least, is from The Bookseller. Seller spelled with a C, like basement. I think it's really clever. A friend pointed out 100 Vicious Little Vampire Stories to me, and she knows my love of vampires, so I went ahead and picked up this hunker. I know I'm not going to love everything, because it's short stories, and I can struggle with short stories, but I also really love vampires, so I want to pick this up in the next month or two, and just read like a couple stories a week. You know, take my time with it. This is one I can be slow on. I don't have to read all of my big books in one sitting, or in 1 week, or even 1 month. Like, need to let myself take a little bit of time with some books. I also have Oryx and Crake. Again, I don't remember what month we're going to be reading this, but it is for the Margaret Atwood book club reading. When Rabbit Howls, I picked this up for Mental Health-a-thon last May from the library, and I was really enjoying it, but I just wasn't in the headspace to read it at that time, and it is a longer book. Like, this thing has tiny print. Also, it's a mass market paperback, but anyways, it has tiny print. It's a longer book. It's about a woman with, I want to say, 98 different personalities. This is a mental illness that people are really debatable on. Some people think it's real, some people think it's not. There are some YouTubers who talk about having different personalities on their channels. Believe what you want. I just think that it's a really interesting book to get into. I can't wait to read this. I am saving this specifically for Mental Health-a-thon. Then we have Helter Skelter. So around the time that I was reading In Cold Blood, I was really loving it. It's a nonfiction that's written like a novel, and I was thinking, I want to find more books that are nonfiction and read like novels, and ends up it's actually its own genre, which is really cool. So I looked it up a little bit, and Helter Skelter is a famous true crime book. I think it's supposed to read like a novel, so I'm excited for this. There were 2 different copies of Helter Skelter that I could choose from, and for whatever reason, I really liked this can barely read it copy of Helter Skelter. I thought it looked cool. I think I'm in good focus. Okay. Anyways, going to read Helter Skelter at some point. I also picked up The Martian Chronicles. So I watched Fahrenheit 451 growing up and wasn't super keen on it because book burning and all. But I read the book, I believe 2 years ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't like was that half of that book is all stuff about the book that was written after the book. Fahrenheit 451 is actually a novella, and apparently in all the copies that you can buy it in, it's just half of the copy that you're getting. All the rest is stuff about the book, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. I had started reading Something Wicked This Way Comes, which I actually DNF'd last year, because again, I was really enjoying it. I just wasn't in the place for it. There were so many other books that I wanted to read more, but I did end up picking up The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. I feel like he's a classic author that I could really have a lot of appreciation and love for if I let myself read some more of him. Classics just, I'm excited to read classics, but they're not what I'm the most excited about. But I do want to take more time to explore Ray Bradbury. And then, last but certainly not the least, in fact, one of the best, John Boyne. I read Heart's Invisible Furies last year. I loved it. I am rereading it with Murphy Napier and loving it. I am currently reading Ladder to the Sky, which I have feelings about, but it is a good book. And I also found this copy of The House of Special Purpose, and I cannot wait to dive into it. This book is about a guard in the House of Special Purpose, and if you don't know what the House of Special Purpose is, think Anastasia. The House of Special Purpose is what they called the last house that the Romanov family lived in before they were murdered. And I'm also curious to see if he's going to do something with the Anastasia mystery that they had. For the record, Anastasia Romanov died. She was murdered with the rest of her family. But you have the Anastasia movie, which I grew up with and still absolutely adore. And you have the woman who claimed to be Anastasia. And I'm wondering if John Boyne is going to play with that at all at the end of this book, because I'm assuming that they die at the end. I don't know how much of the time the House of Special Purposes covers, but I'm hoping it covers that part. I'm really excited for this. I want to pick it up, immediately, but I'm reading 6 books right now, so I really can't pick it up immediately. But pretty much as soon as I finish one of the many books that I'm currently reading, this is next up for me. I cannot wait. But that is it for this haul. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I stay in focus as I try to do a disastrous thing, a horrible thing, and stack up all of these books. Why am I putting the mass markets under the hardcovers? That does not seem like a very smart idea. So down in the comments, please tell me what you've hauled recently, tell me what you're loving recently, or keep conversation really, really interesting. Tell me what you have absolutely hated lately, because I love hearing about the books that people hate. That's where the interesting conversation is. Not in the books that you love, but in the books that you hate. I want to hear all about the books that you're hating, that you paid money for, that you hauled recently, because it's really frustrating to get in a nice big book haul and then hate everything that you bought. So tell me all about it. I cannot quite reach the bottom of this pile, but I will turn it for you and give you a look, because there's no way I'm lifting this up since it's longer than my arms. I have a problem. And I forgot a book. Also, if I haven't mentioned, I might have forgotten 2 books. I wrote the books on my board, and I may have forgotten about them anyways. Let me move this so I can finish talking. If I didn't mention it already, Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams. I read that. I loved it. It was one of my top 2 favorite books last year, and can't show it to you because it's on loan. So this pile would be longer if I had all of the books that are on loan or in the mail. But my last book that I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about, except that I was looking at it when I was trying to manage the pile. My friend, who is currently borrowing Elantris, must really appreciate having me in his life, because this is a $40 book. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire Illustrated Edition. Thank you. I love you too, if you're watching this. And I hope that I can appreciate you as much as you clearly appreciate me. Which actually a surprising number of booktubers got this as a Christmas present. So I'm thinking booktubers have a lot of people in their collective lives who really love them, who love them enough to buy them $40 books. So that is it for this haul. I promise. I will see you all in my next video. I post every Wednesday, Sunday. Like, subscribe, follow me on social media. Please ring the notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.